Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a get ready with me full face tutorial and I shopped my stash. So I pulled out a bunch of things that haven't used in a while or maybe I need to show a little bit more love to, as well as a Pat McGrath palette because somebody asked for me to use one of these in my next get ready with me with shopping my stash and I was like gladly, and I went in with this bad boy right here. I decided not to use any of these special shades and just show you a look without those today, and I really like how this turned out. And apparently I really wanted to use Hourglass today because I have a lot of Hourglass on my little station right here. But if you want to see what products I chose and how I got this look, just keep watching. I'm going to start off with an oldie but a goodie. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade 1W2 Sand. And this is the it's the Sonia Kashuk large blending sponge. You can find them at Target. For the concealer, I'm also going to go in with the Double Wear concealer. This is not one that I've had much luck with in the past, but I figured I'm going to try it out again because, I mean, we're shopping my stash anyway. And I have the shade 2W. To set my under eyes and bake, I'm going to go in with the Linda Hallberg Infinity Loose Setting Powder in the shade Light. And then to set the rest of my face, I'm going to go in with one of my all-time favorite powders. This is the Chanel Natural Loose, and I use the shade number 30 Natural. I know I'm going to end up using this a lot more during the summer. It's one of my favorite powders that doesn't dry out the skin, but it mattifies it and makes it look velvety. I think this is good for so many people. Like, you can use a smaller amount if you're a little bit drier, or you can use more if you're oily. It's one of the most beautiful powders. So I am going to go in with this one today. And I'm going to put that on with the Royal & Langnickel BOM 130. This is from their Omnia Pro line. I've really been enjoying this brush. They did send these to me, but this one is so soft. And it's like flimsy soft. So I don't know, I really like the way it applies the powder. I used to use the Delium 974, I think, but I still like that brush, but there's just something about this one. I feel like it applies maybe a little bit less powder and it spreads it out nicer. It's just really, really good. It's like I could flip this all over. Their new Pro line I've been really impressed with. Could you guys hear that? I was always pulling this over my mouth. Now I have to go in with my lip balm. This is the Gold Spun Camilla lip balm from Tatcha. This used to be like my go-to bronzer for the longest time. And I know you guys are thinking that this is probably Laguna, but it's not. It's Seaside. They're like sun-washed bronzers. I'm close to hitting pan on this. I almost did before I ended up finding, like, I think the balm or something else. But this is one of those that a lot of people have problems with because it's a stiffer formula. So do not go in with this with any kind of like whatever brush. You want to go in with something that's a little stiffer. I'm using the Smith 118 and it will actually pick up the product and blend it out. If you go in with a loosey-goosey brush on this, like say the powder brush that I use from Royal & Langnickel, it is not going to pick it up. Maybe I'll show you. Like you see the product being laid down right now. Like I have no issues getting it on. But this is a stiffer brush. And you can use natural hair, synthetic with this as well. I used to use one from Royal & Langnickel that was synthetic. I think it's their powder brush. I'm just going to show you what happens though. Brushes make such a huge difference in application. Now I've got the bronzer on one side, but I want to show you what happens when you go in with maybe a brush that is not as densely packed as this one. As you can see, this one's a little stiffer and it's going to pick up product. This is another Smith brush. This is the 154, but it's far more loose. And I'm just going to show you what happens. I'm going to pick up a lot of product on here. And then you can see you just don't get the impact right away. You can do it this way, but you're going to end up trying to keep applying. And a lot of people don't like it because say you used a brush like this and it was synthetic and it was even softer, you're just not going to get the pickup that you get with different brushes. That's why sometimes it's harder for me to answer questions. Like, what's your favorite bronzer brush? I'm like, well, what kind of formula are you using? Because it just depends, you know. Like my favorite bronzer brushes I wouldn't use with this particular bronzer because it's so stiff. For my nose, I'm not going to go in with anything new. I'm just going to go ahead and use my By Terry Dual Expert Powder. This is number 4. I have 3 spots of pan on here now. Oh, I love this powder though. So I'm going in with the Tom Ford number 11. And I just take the darker powder on both sides of my nose. And I always bring it into like this little area right here. Linda Hallberg 303, center shade to highlight the nose. I know I want to go in with one of these 2 Hourglass blushes, but I don't know how my eye is going to turn out yet, and one's definitely more on the bronzy, cooler tone. I've got Mood Exposure, and why can't I get this open? There we go. Diffused Heat and Mood Exposure. So you can see like 2 very different looks. So I'm going to wait and see how the eye turns out and then pick my blush. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in for the eye. And I've had some requests to use my Pat McGrath palette. So I'm going to go in with the Mothership 1 Subliminal. Zoeva 227 and Ultimate Taupe. I'm going to start on the outer corner. I love these mattes so much. They're just so good. Blending it upwards to the transition area. A little bit of circles to blend it out. Bring it all the way in. If there was somebody I wanted to see do an all matte palette, it would be Pat McGrath. Like, even though her special shades are super special and amazing, oh, I love her matte formula. Wayne Goss number 20, and I'm just taking that right along the lower lash line. Same brush in this shade Substance. First kind of tapping in little small circular motions and then bringing it into the crease a little bit. Just add some depth to the look. Bringing it up just a little bit. Sonia G Crease Pro and Extreme Black. I picked up very little of this because I don't want it to be too extreme. I'm placing it on the very outer corner, kind of blending it into the crease just a little bit right here to smoke it upward, but not too far. For the lid, Skin Show Nude on a MAC 242, and I'm using this dry. I'm going to apply it to the inner corner, inner portion of the lid first before I start tapping over the outside. I'm going to tap right here to get a nice blend, like a little bit of a gradient. I'm going to take the smallest amount of that and apply it to the brow arch. Then I'm going to go do my mascara. Alright, so I finished off my eyes off camera, and usually I would use my milk liner for the top inner rim, but I went back to my NARS via VENETO just up top, and then an old favorite, the Lancome Monsieur Big for my lashes, and typical extended play down below. Now I can choose my blush. So I picked Diffused Heat because I think this is going to brighten up the look a little bit, make it just a little bit more vibrant. So I'm going to go in with that on an Esom X52. And then for my highlighter, I'm going to go in with my Cover FX palette in the shade Celestial, which is this shade right here on my Linda Hallberg 306. Now for the last step to buff all over, I'm going to go in with the Ambient Lighting palette from Hourglass and the Face Pro brush from Sonia G. And I'm basically just going to go all across all three of these. And I'm just going to add this over top, buff everything out, and I add even more glow. By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder on a Sonia G Detail Pro. I'm going to take a little bit of this on my pores, the center part of my face. I know you guys are thinking, oh my God, Mel, when are you gonna stop? I never stop. But this will just help mattify out those areas without drying them out. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with my Rimmel 49 liner. I bought 10 more of these on RiteAid.com last night. It was funny. And then I'm going to go in with one of these Stilazzi lipsticks. Again, I'm not sure which one. I have Get Fizzy, this shade right here, as well as Sending Nudes, this one here. So I'm going to kind of feel it out and see which one I'll put on, but you guys will obviously know. This I'm going to do off camera. So I've decided to go in with Sending Nudes. I'm just going to put this right on top. So this is the finished look, and I have to say, I need to start using this lipstick more and the other one because I feel like these are really underrated. I don't hear anybody talking about them. Again, they're from Stilazzi. I picked these up at the IMATS show in Atlanta, and they're such a good formula, and I love this color specifically. It's like one of my favorites, but I forget that I have them because they're in a different spot, and you know how that is, like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, but I love these. So anyway, if you're interested, definitely check them out. But this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.